Hello everyone, my name is Vanessa. The name of this channel is called Gnostic Knowledge, and I am back to continue reading in the book written by Zachary Hubbard, Number Games 9/11 to Coronavirus. And what I am doing on this channel is sharing the knowledge of gematria. And that is what Zachary Hubbard's books, this is his latest book, that's what his books are pertaining to. It is about gematria. Gematria is the encoding of numbers within our letters and words, and the more you learn about gematria, the more clearly you see the code and how it is being used. And right now I am in chapter 13 of the book Number Games 9/11 to the Coronavirus, and I will tell you at the end of this reading how you can get both of Zachary Hubbard's books. And without further ado, I will begin reading chapter 13, Nadia the Tiger, Tiger King, and the Year of the Tiger 2020. Okay? So, on April 5th, 2020, headlines read, Nadia the Tiger tests positive for coronavirus. As you might imagine or even recall, it was a story about a tiger at the Bronx Zoo becoming the first mammal in the nation to test positive for the deadly virus. To begin with, why this matters, Tiger sums to 201 with Jewish gematria. And keep in mind, the Bronx isn't too far from the 201 area code in New Jersey that houses the majority of the pharmaceutical giants of the world that stand to benefit a great deal from a coronavirus vaccine, especially if it becomes something that is required and annually. Of course, those requirements would be based on how bad the pandemic is, or at least believed to be. Furthermore, regarding the April 5th date of the news, it can be written 54, similar to 54, as in Jesuit order, or as 45, similar to 45, in the time of the 45th president, and connecting to Holy Bible, as well as Gutenberg equating to 45, as in the first printed Bible, the Gutenberg Bible, and reminding us of how the King James Version was published in 1611, the year King James turned 45 years old. This part about the Holy Bible is crucial because Nadia the Tiger sums to 121 with simple English, the same as Revelation, the concluding text of the Bible, where the story of the mark of the beast is to be taken 666 if you want to buy or sell. Oh man. And because of our gained wisdom, we know how vaccination equates to 666. Adding to this Revelation riddle is the fact that Revelation sums to 49 with Pythagorean gematria, and the story broke on a date with 49 numerology. 2020. When you add 4 plus 5 plus 20 plus 20, that equates to 49. Adding further is that Nadia is considered a beast, and her news story was a riddle, not unlike Revelation 13:18, a Greek isopsophy riddle about the mark of the beast that requires wisdom to calculate it, and to that, cheers. In light of Revelation being part of the Christian section of the Bible, it is important to remind ourselves that both Christianity and coronavirus equates to 155 with simple English. Let us not forget the Clade X simulation on May 15th, or 15/5, 666 days before the pandemic was declared. And regarding the number 155, it is symbolic in this story for numerous reasons. For one, the facility Nadia was housed at, The Wildlife Conservation Society equates to 155 with reverse Pythagorean. At the same time, it sums to 331 with simple English, the 67th prime number, corresponding with Nadia the tiger, equating to 67 with Pythagorean, and Wuhan summing to 67 with simple English. Let us not forget 67 is the 19th prime, and 19 is the number of chaos, as in order out of chaos. I should also note that note the 67th Bilderberg Conference took place in Switzerland not long before the pandemic began and was declared from Switzerland. If you're not familiar with the Bilderberg Conference, it began in 1954, emphasis on 54, and it is where world banking, industry, and media elite gather annually to plot against humanity. As for the next big 155, it is the fact that International Tiger Day, a real thing, falls on July 29th every single year, the day leaving 155 days in the Gregorian year, making this all the more interesting. In 2020, July 29th was the first day of Tisha B'Av, just as it was in 2001, 19 years earlier. For one last detail on Nadia, she was described as a Malayan tiger, equating to 54 and 72 with Pythagorean methods, the same as Jesuit order, and similar to how Sun, S-U-N, equates to 54 with simple English, and also similar to the date of the news, April 5th or 5-4. It is a reminder, all of these rituals are time-based and in tribute to our past, as well as where we are going, or better yet, where we are being taken. As we move ahead in this chapter, I will get to the point about how the cabal are signaling the coming year 2022, the Chinese year of the tiger that ends at the start of 2023. Thus, 2022-23 corresponding with how Wuhan has Pythagorean values of both 22 and 23, and how they are signaling this through rituals such as Nadia summing to 20 with Pythagorean, a story coming in 2020. Shortly after the story of Nadia, Pink, the singer, born Alicia Moore, equating to 56 and 70 in the exact same way as coronavirus, told the story of how her and her 3-year-old son had been battling the illness. As you'll recall, 3 equates to 56 with simple English, the same as Zoo, where Nadia was diagnosed. The image the majority of mainstream media chose to show when the news broke was Pink holding her child, who was dressed in a toddler's jacket with a tiger emblem clearly on the front of it. In the details of the story, it was reported how her son carried a 102-degree temperature for 2 straight weeks, a reminder for all people listening to practice social distancing, summing to 102, the same as Wuhan, China. Days after that, ESPN reported on April 7, 2020, how Tiger Woods was enjoying his annual Masters dinner quarantine style, with emphasis on the phrase, as the media so often does when there are key numbers behind it. Case in point, quarantine style sums to 201 with simple English, similar to how Tiger sums to 201 with Jewish gematria. And yes, for the record, I helped people win a fortune with the 2019 Masters that Tiger won by showing how it was in the bag for Tiger Woods to win nearly a year in advance. And he's absolutely right, because I bet $20 on Tiger Woods and won $200. So I wish I'd have had some thousands to bet, but he's absolutely right. I definitely won off his his predictions. Well, off of this code. It's just, man, this is how they do every freaking thing. Okay, so he says, okay, let me just reread that. I helped people win a fortune with the 2019 Masters that Tiger won by showing how it was in the bag for Tiger Woods to win nearly a year in advance. How? For starters, they named Tiger Woods sums to 54 with both Pythagorean methods similar to how Jesuit order sums to 54 and 144, combining perfectly with the 2019 Masters end date won by Tiger Woods on Sunday, April 14th or 14/4, an infamous date in history for the Jesuits who are credited with the assassination of Lincoln April 14th, 1865. And for those familiar with the golf superstar, consider how Tiger always wears red and black on Sundays, the colors of the Jesuits, in many regards the Catholic Church itself. The bigger giveaway that the tournament was in the bag for Tiger was that the 2019 Masters tournament was 22 years after Tiger won his first Masters in '97 and 11 years after he won his last major, where the master numbers are 11 and 22. Plus, golf sums to 22 in Pythagorean, the same as master and the same as Woods. To take it to the next level, April 14th was 105 days after Tiger's birthday, the 14th triangular number, and golf equates to 14 with reverse Pythagorean, similar to slave with Pythagorean. I bring up the word slave because the tournament began April 11th, 2019, 102 days after Tiger Woods' birthday, corresponding with the gematria of slavery equating to 102, and the fact that the American Civil War began April 12th, 1861, the 102nd day of the year, and beyond that, Civil War equates to 43. What is the 14th prime number? And Tiger Woods was 43 years old at the time of the 2019 Masters win. The final piece was that April 14th could be expressed as Tiger Woods' 106th day of his age, corresponding with the gematria of black and prophecy. And while we're at it, Black Lives Matter. This mattered in 2019 because on August 20th of that year, months after the Masters golf tournament concluded, the 400-year prophecy from Acts 7:6 was fulfilled. And keep in mind, both the names Tiger and Woods, as well as the words slave and master, equate to 76. It was for this reason we were able to call the Virginia Cavaliers winning the college basketball championship at the start of February in 2019 during Black History Month, when we connected the dot that the first slaves arrived in America arrived at Point Comfort, Virginia, on the James River, explaining why so many politicians in the state were being accused of wearing blackface. And not to be a broken record, but I promise you, you'll never look at sports and news the same way again, because from this day forward, you have the knowledge to see through the scripted rituals that are intertwined, that are the workings of the cabal, and better yet, you can see them before they come. Continuing with the number 76, on April 7, 2020, continuing with the number 76, on April 7th, 2020, the date of the news of Tiger Woods' quarantine-style dinner, Wuhan, China ended their lockdown after 76 days. Again, another tribute to Tiger, summing to 76 as in the Chinese year of the tiger. And keep in mind, Tiger Woods is of African and Asian descent. Also consider that the lockdown in Wuhan had begun on the 23rd of January, a fitting date since Wuhan sums to 23rd with reverse Pythagorean. At the same time, Outbreak sums to 123 and 51 in gematria, and Wuhan, China also sums to 51, meaning that between the date January 23rd or 123 and the location summing to 51, both outbreak numbers were covered. Wow. Adding to the list of the words with the same number association, conspiracy equates to 123 and 51, and that is what this was. The details about 151 and 123 remind us that on March 10th, 2020, the 25-year anniversary of the release of the film Outbreak, having a plot involving a viral outbreak in the U.S. and the military being deployed to a small suburban town to contain the spread of the virus, Andrew Cuomo, the 56th governor of New York, deployed the National Guard, equating to 56 in Pythagorean, the same as coronavirus, on the town of New Rochelle, summing to 51 in reverse Pythagorean, the same as outbreak. Furthermore, he said the troops would arrive there March 12th or 12/3, not unlike 123. Keep in mind, March 10th, 2020, the date of his announcement was the 70th day of the leap year, and coronavirus sums to 70 with reverse Pythagorean. As we know, 56 connects to Society of Jesus and 70 connects to Vatican. Consider then that New Rochelle sums to 177, like the Jesuit order, and March 12th was the 72nd day of the year corresponding with Jesuit order, making those responsible for the ritual all the more clear. Governor Cuomo, born December 6, 1957, was on his 96th day of his age, and New Rochelle, New York, equates to 96 with Pythagorean, similar to how Corona sums to 96 with reverse simple. As you have learned, the divisors of 42 sum to 96, and the word Jesuit sums to 42, whereas Freemason sums to 42 and 96. We could also say the incident was 95 days after his birthday, reminding us of 1995, the year Outbreak released, and the year of the first military World Games in Rome, as well as the fact that the Jesuits were formed to counter the 95 thesis. On the subject of 95, and for a related tangent, for all of the New York Yankees fans out there, please know MLB star Garrett Cole picked up his 95th career regular season win in his Yankees debut in the first game of the coronavirus shortened season, July 23, 2020, by defeating the Washington Nationals in Washington, D.C., equating to 187, the same as New York Yankees and Society of Jesus. And keep in mind, the Washington Nationals just won the 115th World Series by the numbers to conclude last season. As we know, D.C. is a Jesuit stronghold, to say the least, and making the ritual all the more perfect. Cole's birthday is September 8th, the one the Catholic Church celebrates as the Virgin Mary's birthday. That is also the 251st day of the year, the 54th prime number, connecting to the gematria of baseball as well as Jesuit order. Furthermore, the game was on his 320th day of his age, corresponding with Roman Catholic Church. And for one more fastball right down the pipe, before we get back on topic, you can now understand why Roger Maris hit 61 home runs in 1961, where 61 is the 18th prime number in both baseball and HIS equate to 18 with Pythagorean. Of course, he was playing for the Yankees, a name equating to 26, like game and God, where the latter word sums to 61 in Jewish gematria and should remind you of the 61 circles that make up the flower of life in sacred geometry. Of course, a circle in its three-dimensional form is a ball. As for the year 1995, and getting back on topic, when Outbreak came out, as a reminder, it was the year Bill Gates was declared the world's richest man and Amazon came into existence, the company that is on its way to what Kurt Vonnegut, Vonnegut, predicted over 50 years ago, the one company to own all things. As we know, 95 matters to the Jesuits, recognized by Rome on the day, leaving 95 days left in the year to counteract the 95 Theses. And for one last thought on Cuomo's New Rochelle ritual, both Morgan Freeman and Dustin Hoffman, the stars of Outbreak, were 82 years old at the time, corresponding with the gematria of COVID-19 equating to 82, and the fact that the Jesuit-educated Cuomo would go on to issue stay-at-home orders for New York beginning March 22nd, 2020, the 82nd day of the year. I should also note, for his efforts, his name began trending on Twitter with President Cuomo's a hashtag having gematria of 69, 177, and 201 in the same ciphers as Jesuit order. Thus, it is fitting for the Jesuit-educated politician. And sadly, it showed that if you manipulate your own people, as Cuomo did in this Orwellian society we're living in, you can still be loved. Oh, man. It was shortly after this same time, March 31st, that Samuel L. Jackson was a guest on Jimmy Kimmel's nightly entertainment program that typically broadcast from the Masonic Temple of Hollywood. On there, he read the book Stay the Fuck at Home with a tiger drawn on the cover and a title summing to 201 in simple English. The title also has gematria of 66. 87 and 258, the exact as number of the beast. Keep in mind, Corona sums to 66 with simple English, and Samuel L. Jackson sums to 87, showing further why he was chosen for this ritual. The actor's name also equates to 222, similar to 2022, the year of the tiger, the same as Wuhan coronavirus, and reminding us of the massive ritual with the pandemic being declared on March 11, 2020, 222 months after September 11, 2001, and 222, order out of chaos. Wow. On the subject of 9/11, if you watch the clip of Samuel L. Jackson reading the nicely titled book, you'll see the actor has the Long Kiss Goodnight movie poster over his shoulder that he once starred in. If you have never seen this movie before, I won't ruin it for you, but I promise you your jaw will hit the floor in light of the dialogue that came before September 11, 2001. Yes, I saw that movie without gematria eyes. Now all these movies I need to go and rewatch just to see what I missed because I didn't know gematria. It is crazy. It says, trust me, you won't miss what I intend for you to see and hear if you watch. Okay, that same film released October 11th, 1996, nearly 5 years earlier, a date with numerology of 136, the 16th triangular number, reminding us of the 16th tarot card, the Tower. Trust me, after you watch the film and hear the dialogue that is so specific to what took place on September 11, 2001, you won't believe it after you watch it. And then to see how they use Samuel L. Jackson in this ritual is so twisted. Then again, he is the villain in Glass, the film we discussed earlier, where he intends to destroy the Osaka Tower in a terrorist attack on the anniversary of Pearl Harbor. And for one last stat on the book Samuel L. Jackson was reading, and to build on our 155 coronavirus pattern, the author of Stay the Fuck at Home Adam Mansbach, Mansbach, has a surname summing to 155 with reverse simple English. As a reminder, the number 155 is where we started the chapter, with the story of Nadia the tiger living at the 155th location, something that relates to this book's cover, which is illustrated with a picture of a tiger. Okay, let me reread that. As a reminder, the number 155 is where we started the chapter, with the story of Nadia the tiger living at the 155 location, something that relates to this book's cover, okay, which is illustrated with a picture of a tiger. Okay, stay the fucking home one, I'm assuming. And for the record, the Detroit Tigers defeated the Kansas City Royals 5-4 on International Tiger Day, July 29, 2020. Boy, these people are just, oh, they make me sick. Moving on. Around the time of Samuel L. Jackson's late bedtime story being read on Jimmy Kimmel's show, the tiger on the cover, Tiger King, became the number one trending series on Netflix after debuting on March 20th, 2020. Okay. Let me reread that because I know I messed that up. Moving on. Around the time of Samuel L. Jackson's late night bedtime story being read on Jimmy Kimmel's show with the tiger on the cover, Tiger King became the number one trending series on Netflix after debuting March 20th, 2020. Keep in mind, the date March 20th can be expressed as 3/20, like 320, corresponding with the gematria of Roman Catholic Church, reminding us who the boss is. Adding to the riddle, the star of the show, Joe Exotic, was born March 5th, or 3/5, not unlike 335, not unlike the number 35, the number representing Catholic in Pythagorean gematria. Adding further to the ritual, it was announced on May 4th that Nicolas Cage, born January 7th, or 7/1, corresponding with 71 value of Catholic, would play the part of Joe Exotic in an upcoming Tiger King series to air on CBS, the network that uses the all-seeing eye for its logo. Adding insult to injury, Nicolas Cage was 56 years old at the time of the announcement that came on the 119th day of his age. As you know, all-seeing eye equates to 56 and 119, and at the same time, Society of Jesus sums to 56, whereas Vatican equates to 119. You could also say the announcement came 118 days after Cage's birthday, corresponding with the reverse Pythagorean gematria of Joseph Allen and Schreibvogel, Schreibvogel, Joseph Allen Schreibvogel, equating to 118. That is the birth name of Joe Exotic. In Variety's story on the Nicolas Cage role, they emphasized American Vandal in their May 4th headline, the team behind the upcoming show. Using simple English, their name also equates to 118, reminding us how perfectly these rituals are executed day after day. And for one more familiar number, the name Joe Schreibvogel equates to 155 with simple English, the same as coronavirus, bringing us back to the ritual with Nadia at the 155th location, at the 155 location, and to International Tiger Day, leaving 155 days left in the year. For a couple more numbers, the name Joe Exotic sums to 47, whereas Joe Schreibvogel equates to 74 with Pythagorean, similar to how his zoo is located in Wynnewood, Wynne, Wynnewood, Oklahoma. also equating to 74. It was for this reason Carol Baskin, equating to 47 with Pythagorean, a character from Tiger King, was given control of the zoo on June 1st, 2020, a date with 47 numerology. Never mind that Oklahoma alone equates to 76, the same as Tiger. And speaking of Carol Baskin, the Hollywood actress Tara Reid, born November 8, 1975, a date written 11/8, like 118, was named to play the part of Carol Baskin on May 16, 2020, in an upcoming film about Tiger King. This was done on the 191st day of Tara Reid's age, and corresponding with the Society of Jesus. Factoring in 191 is the 43rd prime, and the surname Baskin equates to 43 with reverse Pythagorean, whereas Joe Exotic sums to 43 with Pythagorean. What makes this all the more ritualistic is that the same time in the news, another woman with a very similar name, Tara Reid, Reade, was accusing a different Joe Biden, the presidential hopeful, of sexual assault, as I had pointed out on April 9, 2020. When Tara Reid, Tarareade, filed a police report, it was the 153rd day of the Hollywood actress's age, and this was curious because the accuser's full name, Alexandra Tara Reid, equates to 153 with simple English, whereas Jesuit order equates to 153 with reverse simple. In light of the date, April 9th, it can be written 94 like 94, reminding that Joe Biden is of the Roman Catholic Church, equating to 94. To take it even further, Tara Reid's accusal was on March 25th, or 3/25, and the full name of Joe Biden, Joseph Robinette Biden, equates to 325 with reverse simple English. For another story that relates, on April 22nd, 2020, a date with 46 numerology corresponding with virus, it was reported that 2 separate cats in 2 different parts of New York had tested positive for coronavirus. Personally, this reminds me of the November 21st, 2010 episode of The Simpsons titled The Full Monty. Foolmonty, The Full Monty. In that episode, part of the plot involves something referred to as apocalypse meow, an epidemic impacting felines. What makes this all the more interesting is that the Simpsons episode released on the 325th day of the year, reminding of the massive 325 ritual that took place during the time of the pandemic, with the City of London Corporation becoming all the richer on March 25th, or 3/25, like 325, while having existed for 325 years. Yes, sir, I messed that up, so let me read it again. And the Simpsons episode released on the 325th day of the year, reminding of the massive 325 ritual that took place during the time of the pandemic, with the City of London Corporation becoming all the richer on March 25th, or 3/25, while having existed for 325 years. Boy, these people are just repetitive and just sickening. Adding to the relevance of The Simpsons, in terms of coronavirus predictive programming, on May 6, 1993, or 5/6, they released the episode Marge in Chains about a viral outbreak of Osaka flu. shit that is spread by mailed packages. As we decode, keep in mind the writer of The Simpsons, Matthew Groening, studied at Evergreen College just south of Seattle, where the first case of coronavirus was confirmed on January 21st or 1/21. I bring this up because Marge in Chains sums to 121 with simple English, and beyond that, the name reminds us of Alice in Chains, the Seattle-based band. Furthermore, don't overlook the release date of the episode, May 6th. That can be written as 5/6, similar to 56, the big coronavirus number, or the year of the release, 93, reminding of Wuhan coronavirus equating to 93. I'll also note 1993 was when Sleepless in Seattle released, and in 2007 The Simpsons movie released, where Tom Hanks makes a cameo and he puts himself in isolation, reminding us of his ritual after his March 11th coronavirus diagnosis. Coming back to the 93 episode, the contents of the mailed package that begins the Osaka flu outbreak is a juice loosener equating to 51, same as pandemic, and reminding us that the first case of the coronavirus to arrive in Seattle was on the date January 15th or 15/1 before being confirmed on January 21st. Aside from the numbers, key details keep track. Aside from the numbers, key details to keep track of are the flu is given an Asian name and that it begins with mailed packages, reminding us of Amazon, the package mailing giant based out of Seattle. And for the record, the writer's name, Matthew Abraham Groening, has gematria of 223 in the same cipher as novel coronavirus. His full name also equates to 119, and so does Springfield, the town his show is set in. Let us not forget the many relevances of the number, including the gematria of ancient mystery religions, which includes what we're discussing in this book. For one last point, the term cats, bringing household pets and tigers together, has reverse simple English gematria of 65. This is similar to how pandemic equates to 65 with simple English, and how the Simpsons episode about the Osaka flu released on May 6th, a date that can be expressed as 65, not unlike 65. Thus, it made the creatures perfect for the encoded pandemic rituals that became a part of in the monstrous lies that we're told in popular media by villains such as Anthony Fauci, Andrew Cuomo, Chris Cuomo, Gavin Newsom, Donald Trump, Deborah Bricks, Bill Gates, and so on. Woo! So let me read this one more time because I want to make sure it's in context. Thus it made the creatures perfect for the encoded pandemic rituals that they became a part of in the monstrous lies that were told in popular media. Okay, by villains such as Anthony Fauci, Andrew Cuomo, Chris Cuomo, Gavin Newsom, Donald Trump, Deborah Bricks, Bill Gates, and so on. And keep in mind, these are the same lies that will benefit Bill Gates and others when the vaccines come around. The man who participated in the many 65 rituals we've uncovered in the decades leading up to the coronavirus pandemic, including his decade of vaccines, summing to 65. And to add to your 65 list, the detail from the Simpsons episode mentioned earlier, Apocalypse Meow, it equates to 65 with reverse Pythagorean, the same as Year of the Rat that began January 25th, 2020, just days after the first confirmed case of the U.S. Wow. As we'll get to in the next chapter, the Chinese New Year was Dean Koontz' 201st day of the year. The the Chinese New Year was deemed Kunst's 201st day of being 74 years old, a ritual we'll learn about next chapter that was even more prophetic than anything we have discussed yet. And when I say prophetic, please realize I'm saying it with the understanding that this is all being contrived by the cabal, thus contrived prophecy. Absolutely, these suckers are doing everything. All right, and that is the end of chapter 13. And let me see how long I've been reading. I might as well continue into chapter 4. No, chapter 14 is a pretty long chapter, so I'm going to end it here. And I will tell you guys how to get both of Zachary K. Hubbard's books. So, letters and numbers, you need to visit Zachary K. Hubbard's YouTube channels, Gematria Effect News or Gematria Effect Sports. In the description of each of the videos he produces, he leaves a link for you to purchase the book Letters and Numbers. He has other items in there as well, like you can order the hoodie, Gematria Effect News hoodie from him as well. And just check out everything that he has in there that he offers. But the book Letters and Numbers costs $5. It is a PDF file and will come to you via email. And you make sure you save the file once you get the email. And Zachary K. Hubbard left the copyright off this book so that you can have it bound into a book for your own personal library. So you can upload it to lulu.com, and I have it bound into a book for you. One of my subscribers sent me a video of her book that she had just got in the mail that she had uploaded to lulu.com, and which I'm going to be doing really soon here, and have my book finally in a paperback or maybe hardback. I'm going to see which one I might want. But yeah, you can do that, or you can contact your local bindery, or call them, or email. I'm sure there's some way you can contact the local bindery, or just do it online. But the second book, Number Games 9/11 Coronavirus, this book you can get now on Amazon, and today is the release date for this book, October 13th, Tuesday, October 13th. And you can order this book, and of course you can see it's a physical book. I ordered my book from Zachary K. Hubbard months ago, and I've had it now for a while. And if you don't want to order this book from Amazon, you can also order it directly from Zachary K. Hubbard by visiting his GematriaEffectNews.blogspot.com, his blog page. First thing you'll see is the advertisement for this book, and as you scroll down, it gives you the information on how to purchase the book within the United States and abroad. And also, if you order this book off of Amazon, and if you're familiar with the work, you can leave a comment about this book, and I've left a comment. This book is awesome. This book is excellent. This book is mind-blowing, just like his first book. But I do like this one a lot better as well. It's more relevant to right now, but his first book is just as phenomenal. I mean, all of this information is just mind-blowing. So with that said, be sure to read the blogs on Zachary K. Hubbard's blog pages. Watch his videos on his YouTube channels as well, and visit his previous blog page called freetofindtruth.blogspot.com. He has it's just a massive amount of content there because he's been blogging there for over 5 years. And yeah, so with that said, I will be back later with I'll be continuing with chapter 14. So you guys have a good evening, and I will see you soon.